Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Endless Library. I'm your host, the goddamn Batsam, and with me is my usual cohort, DJ Kyber.
Hey guys, this is a nice little summer evening that we're doing this.
Just you, me, Rumble, Frenzy, and Gundam Fabulous.
Yeah, Gundam Fabulous. That I think I may have seen that Gundam before. It's for those of you who can't see, which is all of you. It's like
except you, Craig. We know you're watching.
It's magenta and pink, or is that salmon?
It's basically pink and purple, and with these giant gaudy wings and these bits that look like high heel shoes. And it's just wonderful, and I picked it up at a con because I thought it was the most flamboyant mecha suit ever designed.
Yeah.
And I called it Gundam Fabulous, and one dude's like, "It's called Unicorn Gundam."
Oh.
He got all indignant. I'm just like, that's not any more masculine.
Yeah.
I love Gundam Fabulous because it is fabulous.
Seriously. So I take it a woman pilots this thing? Either a woman or someone as flamboyant as, what was his name? Pippon? From Buso Renkin?
Oh, Papillon!
Papillon, that's it.
You know what? If Papillon got a fucking robot, that would break the internet. That would have my money. I'd have all of my money if Papillon got his own series where he pilots a giant robot. Anyone out there who doesn't know what we're talking about, just go read Buso Renkin. You'll know who we're talking about once you get to the end of book 2. I promise there'll be no mistaking who the most flamboyant character in that book is.
He's the best.
He is the
character.
best. He's the best part of that.
Yes, he
oh, sexy butterfly men.
And I love how he stores. He has what do they call it? Hammer space. He has hammer space in his crotch.
Yeah, he walks around, his first appearance, he wears nothing but a butterfly mask and a Speedo. And he pulls the butterfly mask out of the Speedo.
Exactly.
And then later on, he gets this frilly ballerina outfit. It doesn't have the tutu, but it's got the puffy shoulders, and it's all skin tight and purple.
Yeah, it's
and he still keeps all this stuff in the crotch. It
is awesome.
And even after all that, he's still one of the most well-developed characters in the show.
I know. He's Japan, bravo. Good job on that.
This is why I look the other way when you do weird shit, Japan. Not all the weird shit, but just some of it.
Because when you make a character that awesome, we don't care how feminine or masculine he is. He's just awesome.
If you want to go track down Buso Renkin, it's one of my favorite series by the same guy who did Rurouni Kenshin for all those old otaku out there. If you can, watch the anime. It follows pretty much exactly the same story beats as the manga does, except there was some flim-flammery behind the scenes at the manga, and that kind of tripped up the ending, so the pacing's a bit off. But in the anime, since they know they're going to get cut off early, they adjust the pacing accordingly.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you told me about that.
It's also one of the best intro songs.
Really?
Yeah, I'll put it in here.
Better than G Gundam? Fly the sky,
you know what? I'll say every bit as good as G Gundam's opening.
Okay. So, as far as G Gundam, do you want to talk about that, or is that going to?
No, that's going to be its own episode, dude. We're going to have a whole episode just for G Gundam, like that. Like G Gundam and Megas XLR both get their own shows.
Yeah, their own episodes. Yeah.
And at some point, someone's going to make me fucking talk about Gundam Wing.
So Gundam, you're not a fan of Gundam Wing. I'm not either, but mostly because when I was growing up, I didn't understand it. I was very confused by it, so I didn't watch it. And then,
you know what? I'm going to save my rage.
Okay.
I have so much. It's awful, and I've devoted much time and energy to why it's awful. It is my Moby Dick. And it will all come. I'm just going to save it all because at some point someone's going to be like, you should just talk about Gundam Wing. And then I'll finally break down. And then the dam of rage will just explode.
Yeah, I've only seen a few episodes, but I can tell you I just absolutely despise Hiro. Yeah. I don't really care much about the other characters except for the one guy. What's his name?
The one who doesn't suck?
Yeah.
That's Duo.
Duo, that's it.
Voiced by one of my favorite voice actors,
Scott-
Scott McNeil.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott McNeil.
He was Wolverine.
He was Wolverine.
Yeah.
And then the Bloom was Wolverine.
Yeah, and the two of them were on a panel together. Someone asked, who's the better Wolverine? They both pointed to each other.
Aww.
Yeah.
And now someone's written a fanfic about it.
Oh, God. I wish you wouldn't have told me that, because now...
It exists. We said it. It exists.
Yes, it does.
So anyway, what have you been watching lately?
Me? I've actually been watching a lot of, like, the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and because I just binged on Parks and Recreation.
Oh, I love
finished
Parks. I'm trying my wife to watch Parks and Recreation. She says soon. She
It
says
is-
soon.
I think she'd love it. It's fantastic.
It the first season is not bad, but it's still finding its footing.
Yeah.
But like once it hits like the last 2 episodes of the first season, it just picks up pace as it goes on.
Yeah, that's actually the thing. I watched the first season of Parks and Recreation a long time ago, a couple years ago, and like I stopped watching it because I was like, this looks pretty much like just The Office with different characters. And then after Chris Traeger and Ben Wyatt showed up, after Rob Lowe and what's his name? Ryan something?
The one with the hair so perfect, I'm pretty sure it's fake.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. After they showed up, the show just like is amazing.
Yeah.
Because Chris Traeger reminds me of my sister a lot. He's super healthy. He works out all the time.
He is literally the healthiest person on television.
And he says literally a lot. And for some reason it doesn't piss me off.
Like half the time it's correct though. Like half the time it's figuratively, but the other half it is quite literally correct.
Yes. So, and then Ben Wyatt actually reminds me of me because he's really into
You are a
board
little
games.
Ben Wyatt-y.
Yeah, he's awkward, really loves board games, and he's just like he's very smart, not to toot my own horn, but he is smart. But yeah, very socially awkward, screwed up a lot when he was younger. And yeah, now he's just sort of like a part of the team now. It's awesome. I won't tell you much more because
Well,
anyway.
who hasn't watched Park and Rec? Watched Park and Rec.
Your wife.
Yeah, I guess so. Like who? You know who's making a point to not watch Parks and Recreation?
Who?
Gundam Wing fans. Fuck
Right.
you, Gundam Wing fans.
Because they're way too into horrible emo.
They're
Japanese
not pretty
stuff.
enough. They're not pretty enough on Parks and Rec. Well, screw you. Ron fucking Swanson is the most glorious man to ever exist.
He is. Oh my god. Speaking of Moby Dick, which you
Speaking of dicks,
yeah,
that's how you segue on this show.
Yeah, that's what his favorite book is. Do you know why?
Oh, because there's none of that symbolism. It's just a straightforward man. Straightforward story of a man wanting to hunt an animal.
Yes.
Speaking also of dicks and Ron Swanson, the actor Nick Offerman, when he was younger, people thought he was going to get typecast, and so he has this image floating around online. I might dump it in to the linked up. But he got a couple of his friends in theater to make a prop, like 2-foot long dick that he could just hang out of his pants, and he's just posing with it in his head in one of his full length shots. Because like it's got a nice tasteful black and white lighting, and he's got like the generic actor face, but he's cradling this 2-foot like what do you say about 3-4 inch diameter just cock.
Yeah. Oh my god, and it is fantastic. That's the real Ron Swanson.
That's the real Ron Swanson. This image has not been altered. This is the real Ron Swanson.
So that's it. They thought he was going to get typecast as what?
I can't remember what he thought he was going to get typecast as, but he basically just did it just to screw with people.
Yeah, and then I remember there's also another image of him when he was about that age in a hula skirt.
Yeah. Ron Swanson can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Nick Offerman is also married to Tammy too.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And another thing, there's this there's this girl on Twitter named Book of Tamara. Her name is Tamara, and she is a lot like Ron Swanson. She's made the comparison several times. I just thought it was really funny that her real name is Tamara, which is...
Like Tammy?
Yes. Can be shortened to Tammy.
Yeah. I actually haven't had time to watch much because I picked up a 3DS recently, and my life has been devoured by Fire Emblem Awakening.
Ooh.
And you know what? For whatever reason, I'm the only one I know who plays Fire Emblem. I know half the people I know are JRPG fans. This is the one JRPG I like.
It's a strategy
game. Basically, yeah. Basically the idea is instead of getting like your 3 dudes and the other 3 dudes, and then they just take turns attacking. It's more or less it's like a chessboard, and there's a lot. Instead of just like your knight, your queen, your pawn, there's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different classes depending on which game you're playing. And then you can level up those classes, and then those classes also all have personalities, and there's a story. And I've had a lot of fun with the mechanic. Talking about it with our single fan, Ivy, a lot. They introduced a new mechanic for this game, in that if you have 2 units fight alongside each other enough, their relationship increases. Their relationship gets better, and they can give each other better stat boosts, but outside of battles, you can actually watch the relationship develop in dialogue. And so you can see the way different characters play off of each other, and then if you have 2 characters of the opposite gender, and they spend enough time together, they can actually get married, and then their children will come back in time from the future to join your army.
Yeah, so that actually reminds me of Phantasy Star 3. Is it 3 or 2? Yeah, 3.
Was there also Time Dick in Phantasy Star 3?
No.
No?
It's called Generations of Doom or something like that.
Okay.
In which, you have characters get married and then have kids, and then those kids will be the next party you have, and then they'll have kids with some of the other characters in that.
So lots of inbreeding is what I'm hearing.
They don't do it with each other. There's new characters in each generation. It's just... I don't know. I haven't actually played that one. I've only played the 2nd and 4th one, and that's of the non-online variety of the Genesis series. Yeah. But as far as that one goes, I'm actually a bigger fan of Shining Force because I played it.
I've heard of it. I've never played Shining Force.
It's essentially their response to Fire Emblem.
Okay.
I think it actually was their response to Fire Emblem because, like, over in Japan, they were like, we need to combat this thing. Well, how about we make Shining Force? And they were like, that's a brilliant idea. And they were like, how about we release it outside of Japan? And they were like, even better.
That sounds kind of... Is it like sci-fi?
No, actually. Shining Force is, at least most of them are not sci-fi. It's The Shining... Shining is
The Shining?
No. Shining is a series now. It's the Shining series. There hasn't been a Shining Force game since the Genesis.
Is there a Shining Finger?
There might be. There are magic spells and stuff, but so the problem is though that there hasn't been a Shining game released since the PlayStation 2 in the US, but they've been coming out with a lot in Japan, and then when I got a look at them, I was like, these definitely need to stay in Japan. There is no way these would survive outside of their little island, because it's all preteen looking girls wearing skimpy clothing. They're also elves and cat girls and stuff, and they wear some of them wear French maid outfits, and like the cutscenes are all very exaggerated anime-esque, throwing up the peace signs toward their faces.
Yeah, this does not sound like a game I would enjoy.
Yeah, and then I looked at the gameplay. The gameplay looks okay, it's just not like the Shining Force I'm used to. It's not like the over a grid tactics based. It looks more like Valkyria Chronicles, and since Valkyria Chronicles doesn't have all that super kawaii stuff, it's more like World War II.
No, it's pretty kawaii.
Well, it's like...
I haven't played it, but I've seen people play it. It's pretty fucking kawaii.
At least I have not seen any of the characters wearing French maid outfits. And
if it's a World War II game, in theory, there has to be France. France has to be at least referenced at some point, right?
Yes.
So, obviously, there are going to be French maids.
There's not. Why would there be a maid at war?
Why would anything from Japan be anything from Japan?
Okay, you make sense. But
There's logic in my words.
but yeah, I'm just disappointed with the Shining series, but it's partly because they haven't made a new Shining Force game the way I would have liked to have seen it, and also partly because the ones in Japan are not things I would play, and they would not sell very well outside of Japan.
Outside of Japan.
Yeah.
You know what? Japan, you be Japan.
So,
Alright, I'm Google imaging Valkyria Chronicles French made, because I wouldn't wind up on a watch list.
good lord. Okay, so...
Also, safe searches for the week, Kyber. Safe searches for the week.
Yeah, so... There's also another... Going back to Phantasy Star, they also released Phantasy Star Online 2, only in Japan, and the lead developer said, oh no, we're going to release it outside of Japan. We're definitely going to release it in North America. And that was 3 years ago.
Hey, you know what? It takes a long time for them to localize. They have to turn all of the dialogue referencing rice balls into referencing donuts, and that takes a long time.
And then they have to transform any giant rolling rice ball into a sandwich.
Yes. That's a thing we have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to talk about Fire Emblem just for a minute, because, Ivy, I know you know this. But in case anyone else hears it, someone else has to play this fucking game. You know me, normally I'm very much I don't do the JRPG thing. I'm very strict. I prefer gameplay. I like story if it can be the right story, but it's not the main selling point for me for a game, and I don't usually care about coupling. This game made me care about coupling. I was shipping, Kyber. Do I ship? Is that thing you've ever known me to do?
No.
No, and I was just like, these two. I don't care what the stats of the kid's gonna be. You and you need to go together. Because you would be perfect. And then there's one, and then there's a really weird moment, because as the player you have an avatar character. Like, it's the first time in the series you can actually create, like, you can customize him, and he is your surrogate. He or she is your surrogate in the game. And the avatar can hook up with any character of the opposite gender. There's, like, most of the characters they have, like, you could, like, this guy can hook up with these 5 girls. One of these 5 girls. And then they can make one of these children. But he's like, I'm just like, nobody should have this kind of power, because I can control everyone who's coupling. I'm like, well, I do kind of like that bookie sorceress lady, but I think she has a thing for my swordsman, but I could just make her like me. Wait, no, this is the dark side. No one should have this much power. That's okay. She got to hook up with the swordsman. I got with a Pegasus rider lady with some emotional baggage, but we worked through it. We had 2 kids. One has some serious mommy issues, and the other one has amnesia, but we're working through it.
Okay.
And even speaking of Parks and Rec, there's one character who's more or less basically Chris Traeger. And then there's another one who's, imagine Aubrey Plaza's character, April. Imagine if April actually could do black magic.
Oh, she would kill the Black Eyed Peas.
She would kill the Black Eyed Peas, but she wound up with the Chris Traeger.
Jeez, that's... I don't know if that would really work, because she hates him. He's so positive.
He is very positive. Well, you know, it's...
Opposites attract?
Maybe. I don't know, half of it was just that he couldn't do magic, and he had a horse so he could get the magic girl around to shoot the things. So, like, half the pairings were genuinely, I like these characters together, the other half were like, alright, you two balance each other out gameplay-wise. You'll do. You'll fucking do. Although there was no option for same-sex relationships, though. Which was a bit of a disappointment, because there's a lot of undertones.
Really?
Oh god, I'll put the dialogue for this in the link dump. But the Chris Traeger type is the right-hand man of the main character, Crumb. And in one of their dialogue things, when their relationship gets far enough, he's like, well, hey, I'm your head knight. I've pitched camp. I've, made the dinner. I pitched camp, I made the dinner. Awesome, thank you. Also, it's a bit cold, so I knit everybody hats. And I took blankets from the local village. I got you 4 different ones in different colors, so you can pick which one you want. I'm thinking you're a peach. No, we'll just play it safe with blue. Wait, what? Also, to improve morale, I commissioned a portrait of you naked, holding a sword, to just post all over camp. And this, like, I'm not exaggerating. I will put it in the link dub. The people put this online. This is an actual dialogue exchange from the game. And I'm just like, oh, I thought, oh god. And there's actually an entire DLC map. That's the description is basically the same gender characters have secrets for each other.
Oh my god.
Right. And I'm just like, But then they just announced today in the sequel, they are allowing same-sex relationships.
Okay, it's probably because of the whole Tomodachi life thing.
Right. Well, I think these guys just wanted to do it, and they finally got to do it.
Ah.
Because like I said, there's a lot of undertones. There's a lot of undertones in the main game.
That does sound like Chris Traeger, though.
That does sound like Chris Traeger.
So I also baked you a cake that is made up of bean sprouts and squash and all sorts of things, and added fruit extract for sweetener.
Yes.
It is literally a vegetable loaf.
So, yeah, anyone out there who hasn't played Fire Emblem, go play Fire Emblem. I know Nintendo doesn't release many of them because you fuckers don't buy them, and so now if I want to buy a used copy, it's like $200 for some of the games. Like one of the games is $200. If you go to eBay, you can find them for about $30. There's 2 on the GBA, 1 on the DS, 1 on the GameCube, 1 on the Wii, and 1 on the 3DS with more 3DS coming out. Go play Fire Emblem.
I will, because... Sorry.
You play Fire Emblem.
Yes.
It's spreading already.
No, because, like I said, there hasn't really been a Shining Force game since Sega Saturn. And they also... That one bombed, so it's supposed to come in 3 installments. They released 1 in North America.
God.
Outside of Japan. So, we only have a third of that story, and I really wish they would just re-release the whole damn thing.
Alright, we just hit the 22-minute mark. Should we talk about the movie we watched?
Oh, I thought we were just going to talk about anime. Sure!
Alright, we continued on with Ed Wood Month this week, and we watched 1955's The Bride of the Monster.
Yeah, that was one of the movies that was shown in Ed Wood. The making of.
The making of.
Yeah. So, if you've watched Ed Wood, it's the one where, what's his name? Lobo. Tor. Yeah, Tor is, like, getting whipped by Bela Lugosi, and then people are thrashing around in the water with the octopus.
Alright, we'll do, alright, brief spoiler-free synopsis, like we do.
Yeah.
And then, we'll dive into just the meat of the movie. Very simple setup. Bela Lugosi is an evil mad scientist hanging out in a house in the woods trying to create a race of atomic supermen, and he's got a giant who works for him, and there's an octopus in the lake, and of course the stupid police force, which is basically run by Chief Wiggum, and then a reporter lady have to go and solve the mystery of the atomic supermen.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you really, that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Alright, there you go. Go watch this movie.
Yeah. If you're a fan of Ed Wood, of course, watch it.
Well, see, I would even extend this past if you're a friend. Like, this is pretty much, it's not Plan 9, oh god, it's so bad it's good. This was more or less just straightforward, just kind of B-list drive-in fodder from the 50s.
Yeah.
It was not nearly as just the perfect storm of terrible that Plan 9 was.
Right. It was a little bit boring, certain parts. I will admit that. It was kind of boring, especially when there was that full, just like one shot of Tor just fumbling around with Bela Lugosi's limp body. And...
You want to rephrase that?
It was Tor. Tor was just like...
The monster has rebelled against the master for his love of the pretty girl, and he has knocked him out and put the master in his own device for making people into atomic supermen.
Yes, and then this whole scene just goes on for what feels like 5 minutes.
5-10 minutes, on this scene? Yeah.
And that's all that happens. You could have had a jump cut that just like
Jump
showed
cuts
him
require
grabbing-
actual editing skills, Kyber.
I know. Okay. Granted, Ed Wood was not the most talented human being on the planet, but the least he could have done was just been like, well, you know what? This scene has gone too far, and I'm sure some people will be asleep by now, so let's just cut it down.
But he's
Just like snip, snip.
But he's Ed Wood. Like, he's not going to cut any scene with Bela Lugosi in it, though. You need as much Bela time on screen as you can.
But he was just like, he wasn't really acting. He was basically just going.
It doesn't matter. He had Bela Lugosi and a literal giant. And damn it, he was going to shoot the whole thing.
Alright. But that part was a prime example of how boring it could be.
It did stretch. I will give it that. Dialogue is terrible.
Oh yeah. But the thing that really sells the terrible dialogue is the terrible acting.
Terrible. Except, you know what? Bad acting all around this film. And I'm sure it was pretty much whoever was just happened to be standing closest to the lot when they started filming.
Yeah.
You got the part.
Hey you! Do you know how to read lines?
Hey you, buddy, do you know how to read?
Here, read the script.
It's
It'll
okay,
be
Bela
shooting
doesn't either. Get up here.
It'll be shot in about 5 minutes, so you better memorize them fast.
That's alright, you'll be back by your lunch break, by the end of your lunch break. God, every time I do the Ed Wood voice, it just turns into old-timey voice.
Yeah, the Atlantic, I think it's called Atlantic voice.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that. Because I looked up what Jake's dad, from Adventure Time, Finn and Jake's dad, his voice is apparently an Atlantic accent.
Alright.
Something like that. But anyways.
Are these the ones with the Zeppelin races?
Probably. They're the ones that talk really fast, and then they say all the things that you need to hear, right as soon as they get them. So...
I love doing the voice, but I can never come up with actual, like, timey dialogue to go fast enough with how fast I have to talk to make it.
Right. So most of those people had scripts anyways. But in this, you mostly heard people saying, "Oh, there is a mansion in the swamp. Maybe you should go look at it." Yes, that sounds good. A lot of people are outraged by that story you wrote. It just sounded like line reading.
I think that the absolute worst line reading came from the lead actress.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's a very near the beginning of the movie where her boyfriend's the detective, her fiance's the detective, and she breaks it off with him because he won't tell her that she thinks there's a monster, and of course they're police. They're like, there's probably no monster. And he's like, you better tell me that there's a monster and all about the monster. You're holding information. I'm gonna break off the engagement. And then the man's like, well, now, honey, you'd better straighten up, or I'm going to have to take you over my knee. Literal line from the film is, I'm going to have to take her over my knee.
I love that part because that is just so outdated.
Outdated or kinky? The audience can decide.
Oh, you know what, honey? I'm sorry. Well, I forgive you, but I'm still going to put you over my knee.
But anyway, the worst line read comes from, well, I can't give the ring back to you. I know. I'll throw it in Marsh Lake. Was it Marsh Lake or Lake Marsh?
I don't remember. It was a very generic name.
It was like a marsh is pretty much already just a lake with more mud in it.
Yeah,
more
very
mud
briny.
and tree. Yeah.
But so yeah, that might be the worst. That's probably the worst one.
That
just
was
no inflection.
No. But you know who did kick ass? Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? Give the man credit. I know he was, strung out with an alcohol problem and a morphine addiction, but he gave 100% in every scene he was in. He's clearly acting way above the caliber of the movie he's in. And God bless anyone who's willing to do that.
Exactly. He was definitely the best actor in it, and that was very beneficial for Ed Wood, who needed a good actor for very cheap. And considering Bela Lugosi's career had...
He works for hugs.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, his career had gone down the toilet, so he was willing to do whatever. So, lucky for Ed Wood. But unlucky for Bela Lugosi, I guess.
Yeah, but he has got a particularly good line read towards the end of the second act of the film, where someone from his home country tracks him down and wants him to come back, and he does this whole dialogue about how, screw that country, they drove me out, but I'm going to make my race of atomic supermen.
Yeah. And at that point, he kind of just he was just the Red Skull at that point.
You know what he reminded me of more than the Red Skull was Farnsworth from Futurama.
Because
Because I'm watching that, and all I can think is, it may very well have been a callback to this, because I'm pretty sure most of the Futurama cast or most of the Futurama writers have probably seen Ed Wood movies, where Professor Farnsworth makes his race of atomic supermen. And then they play basketball against the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's right. Ah, Jesus. You alright?
Something here?
Oh.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, let's see, what was my favorite part of this movie? I don't know. Oh,
someone is here.
Yeah, okay.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
No, we're not going to stop and edit.
No. So,
Anyway, fans of the show, Robin has just walked in. You might remember her from the Howl's Moving Castle review. Say hello.
Hi.
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 so...
Anyway, we'll wrap up Bride of the Monster. Pretty good. Like, it's better than Plan 9.
But, well, it's less entertaining than Plan 9, but yes, it is better than Plan 9. It reminded me of Manos the Hands of Fate, but not... Like, plot-wise, I guess, it reminded me of Manos the Hands of Fate, but not as terrible.
It was, like I said, pretty much your boilerplate, generic, like, 50s sci-fi. Like, you're gonna take a date to the drive-in, and then you're gonna not watch the movie.
Right.
And then 50s. And then you're gonna go home and, I don't know, wear matching sweaters?
And then go to the hop.
Go to the sock hop?
Yeah. Let's go to the hop. So.
Alright, and now, introducing an entirely new segment on the show, since we know we only have the one audience member.
Yeah.
We're going to pander to this one audience member as much as we fucking can. So, Ivy, just for you, we have a new segment, Pandermonium.
That was me. I named it.
We need a sound effect to go along with Pandermonium.
Pandemonium.
I was thinking something like bells.
Ding.
We'll figure it out.
Something like Pee-wee's Playhouse-esque.
No.
No?
I've heard podcasts that have like evolved over time. One of my favorite ones is This Week in Chiptune. Started off just DJ Cutman going in and being like, "Hey, this is this Week
DJ
in
Cutman?
Chiptune."
I know DJ Cutman.
Like personally?
No, like I know his work.
He's from Philadelphia. It's only a few hours away from here.
It is almost anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah, DJ Cutman hosts a fantastic podcast called This Week in Chiptune. First like 50 episodes, I want to say, were just him going into it. Hey guys, this is This Week in Chiptune, and then after that, he got a jingle intro. It's awesome.
What I'm hearing is he's a DJ who couldn't make his own jingle. That's what I'm hearing.
He did though. It
took him.
long.
What I'm hearing is a DJ took 50 episodes to make his own jingle.
Yes.
Anyway, that's not. I'm not hearing pandering right now.
Okay.
Let's see here. She loves anime. She loves sloths.
Yeah, and I don't know her actually.
I'm the only one who does. But we'll stick with anime and sloths because those are things we can talk about.
Sloths are adorable.
Big fan of just science in general. She's a Mensa member.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shakira and Anthony Kiedis are also in Mensa.
Yeah, there we go. Do I know Anthony Kiedis?
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, okay. I suck at knowing who's in bands. The only band where I can name every member is the Beatles.
He's a lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers. But yeah. So you know Pete Best?
Yes, he was the first drummer of the Beatles.
There we go.
And he left, and then they brought in Ringo, and the guy was bitter, so he actually put out an album called Best of the Beatles. And someone actually took him to court for this. I think a record store took him to court for this, and he won because it is literally he is best formerly of the Beatles.
Oh God!
That's pretty fantastic.
It is. And I know like people like to shit on Ringo, but the thing is like the worst thing you can really accuse Ringo of doing is just not being as talented as John or Paul.
I actually love Ringo.
I love Ringo too.
The first song that I ever learned by the Beatles was Octopus Garden, only because it's the first song I remember listening to, only because it was an episode of the Muppets. That Kermit was swimming along to the song, and there was an octopus in there somewhere. I don't know why I remember this, but although I do love the spoof that they do on Family Guy about Ringo making fun of him. Have you ever seen that episode?
No, I'm not much of a Family Guy person.
Well, Ringo walks in, and he's like, guys, I wrote a new song, and they're like, oh, that's right, Ringo, that's right, we're gonna hang it right here on the fridge where everyone can see it right here.
Yeah, that was an early episode. That was back before Family Guy became all about left wing and atheism and gay marriage, and I'm all for those things. I'm fine with that, but that's every episode, seasons full of just those three things. But anyways, my favorite spoof of the Beatles would be from Dewey Cox.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know that one?
No.
Paul Rudd was, Paul Rudd was the... Oh, wait, was it Paul Rudd? I think he was John Lennon. Sorry. He was,
We're just playing with Gundam Fabulous.
Yeah, and then, Jack Black was Paul, and, Justin something or other, the guy from the PC versus Mac commercials, he was George Harrison, and I forget who was Ringo, but it was hilarious because they just started beating the crap out of each other. They were like,
"Oh, that was a lot of build. That was not where I was expecting this to go." After all that build up,
I'm just the drummer. I just like to have fun. I like the little one.
I feel like
wrote a song about an octopus. Well, jam it up your ass. You're lucky we still let you play drums.
I feel like Ringo as the drummer is probably going to be the best at hitting things. So in a four-way brawl with the Beatles, I'm going to put my money on Ringo.
I heard he could beat him with his nose.
Right.
Yeah.
Or does the nose just make a bigger target?
Ooh. Yeah, it could be. He actually wasn't in the fight. It was just John and Paul, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I wonder if your songs will still be shit when I'm 64.
Let's see here. John was a pacifist, but Paul was a vegetarian. So
We've gotten way off track, guys.
way off track. Well, actually, we can tie it back to Family Guy, where I don't like Family Guy, but I love Seth MacFarlane as a person. Because he, in interviews, he's really smart, he's really capable, he did a lot of work, I think he's trying to bring back the Flintstones right now.
Yeah, that's right.
And the guy actually bought believe it was all of Carl Sagan's research. The family put it up for auction, and he bought it, and he donated it all to the Smithsonian.
Wow.
That does explain the new Cosmos being produced.
Yeah, no, he actually fronted the money for the pilot for Cosmos. Over the first episode, because they were Neil deGrasse Tyson was shopping it around everywhere, and he just kind of ran into MacFarlane at some science thing, some benefit thing, and MacFarlane says, "Well, I've got some ins at Fox. I'll ask around," and basically the execs at Fox said, "We like it, but we're not sure. We like the idea, but we're not sure if we can really invest in it." And so MacFarlane said, "I will just pay for the entire first episode. We'll call it a pilot. And then we'll go from there." And I think he donated a little bit more money to the rest of the production, too. But no, we would not have Cosmos without Seth MacFarlane.
That's one of the shows I watch with my mom, because she watched the original one in the 80s. And she pointed out something that kind of, I wish she wouldn't have pointed it out. Carl Sagan says billions really weird. Billions and billions.
His voice is just a modified Kermit the Frog.
Yeah. Now I wish
Also,
you wouldn't point that out.
direct quote from Seth MacFarlane.
So, anyways, getting back on track to anime.
Yeah, we talked about science. So
she's a fan of science.
She's in Mensa, so she likes science.
Oh, right. well, there's more to Mensa than just science. What about history? Or, no, that's also in Cosmos.
Yeah, just Cosmos.
Cosmos is everything.
Why is anyone listening to us when they could be watching Cosmos?
Exactly. Maybe they don't have Netflix.
This is why you guys don't have any listeners.
We just keep sending We have the one! We have the one!
I think we may have clipped there when we were laughing. That was
Probably.
wonderful.
I'll normalize it.
Okay.
I'll do some batch editing, but I won't spot edit because that takes too much time, and I'm a busy motherfucker.
Yeah.
We need an intern.
I need an internship.
Well, you just got demoted from co-host to intern.
Yeah, that is a demote. Yeah.
I'll
No.
take over.
I'll take over. There we go. Robin, you're promoted to co-host.
Yes.
Kyber, you're demoted to intern.
Okay.
Hey, you speak when you're spoken to.
I think I might just change my name to Robin. I'm happy about it.
You happy about it? There we have Batsam and Robin. It works better. You had a good run.
It's okay. It's okay, Kyle.
Okay. So it's Batsam and Robin. I see where.
Oh,
Okay. For a second,
you only
I thought
just
you
now
were.
get that?
I thought you were naming yourself after the Swedish pop star or something.
I
No,
mean-
that's her screen name.
I could name myself after. I
Anyone-
don't know who that is, but
No?
now
She-
I'm gonna look it up.
She did a song with The Lonely Island recently, but that was the first time I had heard about her since the late 90s.
All right, so we hit science. I don't know much about sloths.
They're adorable.
They are adorable. Actually, I have whenever she's down, because we chat a lot online. She's from out of state, so most of what we do is through chat. And so she's like, I'm having a shit day. I keep a folder of just sloth photos to send her when she's depressed.
Whenever I think of sloths, I think of the Pokemon.
Oh,
There's a sloth.
Yeah, there's Vigoroth.
Yeah.
And then Vigoroth evolves to Slacking. Oh.
But it gets
What's the?
it gets more active as it evolves.
Well, no, it's I think the base evolution or the base Pokemon I think is pretty lazy.
Yeah.
But then it gets more active when it gets to be a teenager when it's Vigoroth, and then when it becomes Slacking.
Oh, that's right.
It's just I think it's Pokemon power is it only moves every other turn.
Yeah.
So I have not gotten that far in Pokemon. I've only played the primary colors. So whenever I think of sloths in regards to video games, I think of House of the Dead 3.
I never got that far in House of the Dead. Did they have that one at the movie theater around here? Is that the one they have there?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no, but they have it on the Wii, which is where I played it.
Okay, yeah. I got a Wii.
Yeah, there's a boss. I think it's actually the second boss. You wind up in this giant cage filled with dead bodies on top of it, and climbing around in this cage is, surprise, surprise, a giant zombie sloth. So
There's no part of this I don't like.
and he's actually surprisingly fast, which is weird because he's a zombie and a sloth. You think he would be just painfully slow, but no, he climbs faster than holy hell, and you have to shoot his legs or arms or climby things in order to stop him from getting so close. And then he'll also fall onto you. He'll climb up and then over and fall. And that feels actually pretty good.
No, that was not any kind of sexual action, ladies and gentlemen.
No, he was just climbing on my arms,
Well,
on
you're
my shoulders.
you're an intern now. Go find us a sloth. We'll use it as a mascot.
Okay.
Oh, what you
Oh, we'll know once we find it. Once we find the sloth.
Yeah. They are adorable, though, seriously.
They
I've
are.
seen baby pictures
Well,
of
I think she said that
so cute.
two-toed sloths are cuter as babies, but less cute as an adult. But three-toed sloths are they get cuter. Or maybe I have that backwards.
I'm sure she'll correct you.
She'll probably correct us.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
and then I know she's also a big anime fan, and you are a resident anime expert.
I am. However, I
are.
will say this. I have not seen, speaking of animation in general, I have not seen the Pixar Inside Out yet.
No, neither have I.
And
Me neither.
this needs to happen.
Monday?
Because, yes.
Monday? Let's do a
Possibly.
Monday.
My niece saw it and she loved it. And now I know a quote from the movie. Bing. who's your friend who likes to go ping pong, ping pong, something like that.
Oh, I think that's like the. I'm trying to think of where. I think they have like there's long-term memory that they go into, and the one memory that they won't throw out is a song that's like a bubblegum commercial, I guess, and it's like the one memory in the long-term memory like lane that they won't get rid of, like, but they throw out like memories, I guess, all the time. So, but I just love that Amy Poehler does the voice of Joy,
Right.
and that
There's no one better for that.
and the one lady from the Office who plays,
Leslie Knope.
yeah, I love her. She's Sadness.
What's her? Yeah, what was her name in? Who is that actress from The Office?
Well, her name was Phyllis in the.
Phyllis, that's it. Well, yeah, I was thinking of the actress and the character because I didn't remember.
Oh,
either.
and then the girl who plays Mindy is Disgust, which they told her, they were like, we have the perfect part for you, and she was like,
Not Aubrey Plaza?
Really?
I'm a
Mindy
little disappointed
Kaling.
it's not Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
But they got Lewis Black to play Anger, which, perfect. Lewis Black playing Anger.
And Bill Hader as Fear.
Yes,
Good.
I thought that was great. I was like, oh my gosh.
Who's Bill Hader?
He was. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of like something you may have seen. He was in Super Rod, or
Hot Rod?
Hot Rod, that's it.
Yeah.
He was the guy who like worked with him. He's part of SNL, but yeah, he was in Hot Rod, where he was the guy who dropped acid at the bowling alley, and it had that fantastic little like dream sequence of him like, dude, I just scored some LSD. Thanks. You're welcome.
So I'm drilling down these Valkyria Chronicle images, and I'm not finding any French maids.
See? No French maids in it.
There's a French maid, but I don't want to click on it.
Don't.
Why are we looking at French maids?
Oh, we were
Because-
talking about Valkyria Chronicles and how it's a JRPG that it's basically a World War II parallel, and that takes place in Europe. And I thought they're obviously going to have to hit France at some point, and Japan loves French maids. There has to be a French maid in the game, and I'm not seeing one. Like I'm seeing.
Well, speaking of maids, I'll distract them for a little bit. I don't know if your friend Ivy, what kind of anime she's into, but one of my favorites is called Kauchua Maid Sama. I hope you've seen it because it's adorable. There's only like 26 episodes. The manga is much longer, a little bit longer, but it's absolutely adorable. And it's basically her being the class president and trying to keep that appearance that she's like, pretty like put together and awesome. But in the meantime, she works at like a maid cafe, and this one guy who isn't interested in any women in the school like finds out that she works there.
And that's his fetish.
And that's apparently his kind of like fetish thing, but he's like the super
And that's when
cool
things
guy.
get dark.
No, but sure. No, it's just when things get weird.
I'm going
Starts,
to
like-
follow you home.
He slightly like stalks her. She calls him her alien stalker, and
Sounds dark.
but
Remember, kids, if a woman won't pay attention to you, stalk her until she falls in love with you.
yep, that's
Or-
basically the premise of the anime. It's great.
So,
It kind of reminds me of, do you ever actually read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga?
No.
that is
The
first
manga,
issue.
it has roughly the same cast of the show, but they don't play card games. Instead, they just call them shadow games,
Oh yeah.
and it just all fucked up. And there's a bit where the lead girl takes a job working at an American hamburger joint to raise money to study abroad.
Yeah.
And there's a whole subplot about how they go to the hamburger joint and they find her there, but nobody's supposed to know that she works there. So she writes, "If you talk, I'll kill you," and ketchup on their tray. And then a murderer escapes from prison and holds up the restaurant, but it's okay because Yu-Gi-Oh sets him on fire.
Well, that's just
He sets
wonderful.
himself on fire.
It's almost like a Saw thing when you play.
Yeah.
It's basically Saw, where just the Yugi just tricks you into killing yourself, and for kids.
Well, that's Just PG.
No,
Sounds great.
yeah, there's the one where he kills that guy, or he gets the guy to kill himself. There's another one where there's a creepy news crew hanging out at the school trying to get footage of kids beating each other up. And he does something to mess with this guy, but basically he just turns his eyes so all I can see is like the pixel blur, the pixel mosaic blur that you see on everything, and it's all, and like his eyes are just pixelated.
He makes one guy think that leaves our money.
One guy thinks that leaves our money. He's the one who got away he got out pretty easy. Leaves our money.
Yeah, compared to like everyone else.
There's another guy who got stabbed by a scorpion. Another one got blown up, literally blown up.
That kid that pretended to be psychic, he didn't die.
No, he just got chloroformed.
That's it. That's right.
This just reminds me of another.
Oh, chloroform. That reminds me of more anime. The most fucked up moment in the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, though, has got to be when Kaiba captures Joey and locks him in a small room and chains him to a chainsaw-wielding maniac, and he's surgically placed a television in the maniac's stomach so that he can taunt Joey while this guy tries to kill him, and the room is also flooded like knee-deep with gasoline.
Wow, Kaiba. I had no idea. I don't want to watch this show anymore.
This just got really heavy, man. I don't think I can take it.
Chloroform. But speaking of chloroform...
but speaking of just killing people in general, people dying.
Speaking of murder. Murder.
Have you guys seen Sword Art Online?
Oh, gosh.
Nah. Is that the chloroform part? I don't know. I only saw, like, the first season.
No, I was thinking of this, the show called Another. Again, it's a shorter anime. It's only 13 episodes.
I've heard of Another.
Yes, it is actually very good if you have not seen it. But basically, there's like a curse in these kids. One person in the classroom is dead, but you don't know who this person is. So to try and avoid, like, the curse of people apparently dying, like, every so often, they ignore one student to try and get rid of the curse, but then this transfer student comes in and starts, like, talking to the person they're supposed to ignore, so then everyone goes into panic, and then people start dying, and I think in, like, the second or third episode, this girl's, like, running down the stairs, and she's carrying an umbrella, and she gets, like, punctured in the neck by the umbrella, and she dies, and it's just, like, random things like that happen, like that random people dying.
Don't you just love how in the West they just assume all animation's for kids?
Oh yeah, it's great.
And that's what got us One Piece.
Well, yeah. 4Kids edit.
You know what? Say what you will about the 4Kids edit of One Piece. They did a lot of dumb shit for that edit, but the voice cast nailed it.
Yeah, 4Kids. I like 4Kids voice cast, actually.
Oh. Hold on.
Okay. Alright, so, have you heard of... I'm trying to think of what anime I've been watching. Oh, one that I've just sort of have a bit of a guilty pleasure for is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yay, we struck oil.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally awesome. I absolutely am loving this anime so far.
Yeah,
just loving it.
What's your favorite part?
Right now, it's really hard to say, just because I don't know. I kind of like the part where he finds I don't remember the guy who makes his armor.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, what is his name? I think his symbol is like a rabbit or something.
Yeah, I think that's why I love him.
So,
but I thought that was kind of cool that he finds like a guy that makes such like light armor, and people are like making fun of him, but it's actually like really like nice stuff, and they just don't realize it. And,
right. He's part of a very famous group of blacksmiths or something.
Yeah, and he apparently doesn't make magical weapons anymore for various reasons, and
so right. For those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon is a fantasy, not ecchi. I was gonna call it ecchi, but no, there's no naked women in it.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, but that chick has big boobs.
So right.
But anyways, it's like almost a harem manga, or anime, almost. although he doesn't live with these women, he only lives with one, which is probably why I give it a pass. I hate harem, but I actually, you don't?
I don't, just because, I don't know, like, I don't know. I love that kind of stuff, though.
Well, I don't like how there's like how some guy ends up living with a ton of women and then
Oh, see, I like it when it's
joke goes-
backwards, where it's a bunch
Oh.
of guys.
I-
So I don't know if there's like what's the reverse like name for that?
harem.
Yeah, it's just the same. No, well, I feel like there's two different names for that. Like,
It could
but
be.
there could be, but no, I like it when it's like a bunch of guys, like just after like one girl. I don't know why, because it's like
Fruits basket.
for me, for
Something.
as a girl, it's like our fantasy. Like, oh, we just want to be surrounded by a bunch of guys that are in love with us.
Yeah, and
So-
then I guess it's a
You
guy's
want to be
fantasy.
surrounded by a
But,
bunch of guys in love with you too?
oh yeah.
but yeah, it's same for it's also kind of a guy's fantasy, but not mine. It is, and it's incredibly annoying when there's like so much domestic abuse. It is domestic abuse.
Oh, are we talking about the harem anime?
Yes. It like the guys get the crap beaten out of them constantly for things they don't do on purpose. It's like an accident happens and then all of a sudden one of them is beating the crap out of him. That is still domestic abuse. Come on.
It's a little bit, but it's okay because boobs.
Yeah, he gets a
Boobs.
face full of tits and then therefore,
Yeah.
you know, ha ha ha.
I there's a moment in Sword Art Online that made me think of you specifically for this reason. There's a bit where the two main leads, they kind of have a thing for each other. Guy lead goes over to the girl lead's house. She cooks him dinner, and she says, "All right, it's time for us to go to bed." And then she starts undressing in front of him, and then he says, "You know what? No, I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that yet." And she's like, "Well, you thought we were gonna have sex?" And then she punches him through a wall.
Yeah. So
And
not
that-
only that, but Sword Art Online is an MMORPG. He's not seeing a real naked girl. But anyways.
Well, it wasn't like naked on the show either, but
Right. So, back to, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? That that is the name of it, and
And it's great.
it is great.
wait, that's a thing?
It's a
Yes,
thing.
it is. A
Where
thing.
can I watch this thing?
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll, which is on my phone right now. Yes, I have the app.
Well,
It's great.
I was gonna say let's go hit the bars after this, but fuck it, we might have to just go grab some beer and come back for that.
I'd be up for that. But anyway,
I
so
still need to get you a Bloody Mary. You've never had a Bloody Mary.
no, I have not.
We need to just get Tim to make you a Bloody Mary.
I
That
also
would be
love the goddess.
Oh yeah, she.
I love her. I don't
she's
know
fun.
why. She's a little annoying at times, but
Yes.
I still like. I'm waiting for her to show her true, even more like divine power.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like she's gonna be totally badass.
This
at
isn't
one
even
point.
my final form.
Yeah. Although it is a little off-putting that she is about the size of a 12-year-old, and yet her boobs are the size of a.
Yeah,
porn star.
that's one of those things about Japan that I don't really like that. It's really creepy.
So, I never got to the plot synopsis. Sorry, I keep getting
Don't from the
sidetracked.
table. It's where the mic is.
Sorry. So,
Damn it, intern.
I'm sorry. So, what happens is this kid, his name is Leaf. What is it? I want to say Leaf. I don't know why I want to say Leaf.
No.
Like Leif Erikson?
No, like the thing that grows on a plant. But no, it's not it.
Because Japan's good at naming things.
Cloud,
Cloud. Although rain,
lightning.
lightning. One of our favorite series is G Gundam, and the lead actress's name, or
Yeah.
the lead female lead's name is Rain. And there is this one guy in the whole show who calls her out, where he's like, "Rain, your fucking name is Rain."
And his master name is Master Asia.
Oh, Belle. His name is Belle.
Belle, that's right, Belle. I knew it was something with 4 letters.
So
Right.
I can actually give you
Oh.
a quick synopsis. So,
Please do.
And this
bad
is the
at this.
dungeon one, right?
because
Yes.
okay. So based off a light novel, I can totally talk, guys. Written by Fujino.
You're the
Amori.
co-host. Pick it up.
Whatever.
You have to step it up.
Well, it's set in the world of Orario, where adventurers band together and look for treasures in an underground labyrinth known as Dungeon. However, for Belle Crenel, fame and riches are secondary to what he wants to find the most, girls. He soon finds out, though, that anything can happen in a dungeon, and winds up being the damsel in distress instead. So
Sounds like everyone playing an MMO, though.
That's actually what I kind of like about it, is that it's sort of like an MMO, a meta MMO, self-aware fantasy world. But it's not an MMO, it's real life.
Okay.
In real life, you just get stats. You're like, I'm gonna go to the dungeon and fight the monsters. And that way I can level up. And then you're like, okay, that's how life works.
Yeah. now I just want to go watch Adventure Time, too.
Yeah,
I'm in my element!
That's actually what I was kind of thinking this show would be like. It's almost like that, but like not.
It's like Adventure Time with more torture porn.
No.
BDSM porn. I'm sorry. Torture porn is a very different thing. That's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Actually, so that does remind me the point I was gonna make. This is almost like a harem, except the girls don't live in his house. Just the one girl, but there are a ton of girls that are into this guy. Like there's the bartender. No, she's not really a bartender.
She's like a waitress.
Yeah, the waitress. There is from Always Sunny. No, just kidding.
Yeah, from Always Sunny, the waitress. There's the goddess, and then there is his what's the shorter girl with the big?
Right, his prim.
His prim, yes.
Well, yeah, she's a like a gnome, pretty much, or a halfling that they call a prim, and she is basically his backup. She's the lady that carries all his stuff.
Yes. Oh, so she's his intern.
Yes.
Yes. And then there's the sword princess.
Yeah.
And she's
might be into him.
I think she is. I think she's going to be like. I think she's slowly showing a little bit at a time.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and she never smiles.
Nope, and that's why I like her. That's why I like her.
Yeah.
She has no time for the rest of the character's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially her obnoxious party. Actually, they're not obnoxious. I take that back. But except for the one guy, the guy who gets drunk, he's the wolf fighter character. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's full of action, so much fun. It's meta RPG stuff, which I love. If it's done right, because I play RPGs and I sometimes go meta. Like, oh well, we shouldn't really go there because the DM probably put a trap there. I mean, the guy who built this castle probably built a trap there.
But so let's see what other animes are.
Well, we're creeping up on the hour mark, and we do have to save some talk for the next Pandermonium.
Ah, yes, indeed.
I've been watching Ninja Slayer, but I'm actually going to talk about the next episode.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to go watch Ninja Slayer in preparation for the next episode, it's by the guys who did Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to tell you going into it, because you really just have to fucking watch this show.
You got my attention.
Yeah, like that's Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill. That's all you need to sell me on a show.
Oh, and for Ivy, if you do like kind of like the harems, I would suggest watching Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, because that's kind of been my guilty pleasure right now. It's fantastic.
All right, so there we go. So Seven Witches. Go watch Bride of the Monster if you're into 50s sci-fi stuff, and everyone go fucking play Fire Emblem. Some of you have a Game Boy Advance somewhere, they're like $10. Go play Fire Emblem.
There you have it.
All right, Silence intern.
You count the levels 1, 2, and 3. Life goes on, anything goes, coming up. Boom. Count the brothers, 1, 2, and Cause I'm hungry.